everyone, and thank you for listening to What Happens in This House Stays in This House Strength Over Silence podcast. I am your host today, Tammy Montgomery Dozier. Again, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate all of your support thus far. Doing a podcast was never my intent in my life. Never thought about doing one until this pandemic occurred because I was stuck in a house. I was let go of my position because they had closed down with the assumption that I was going to be going back. And that never happened. So being in the house and thinking about things to do and how to keep myself preoccupied, this came about a surprise to me doing this. I had already done What Happens in This House Stays in This House benefit about for mental health. So this particular thing was not in my wheelhouse on what to do. But it was a passion of mine to talk about mental health in the African-American community because of all the things that I had gone through and things that had transpired in my life. So in the midst of me doing this, I had to trust the process. I had to trust that there was a reason for me to come up with this and say, you know what, let's do What Happens in This House Stays in This House podcast, Strength Over Silence, because that is what I have been speaking on about mental health. And to get special guests and to get people to come on and talk about that things. And this has been the most amazing experience because I've had people that I've been around for years and just bringing them on here, I have learned a lot of different things. So when you start things in life and things happen to you that is out of the ordinary and it may be uncomfortable, you have to trust the process. You have to know that the end goal is going to be rewarding because you don't know where you're going. You know, that's just like when you're driving and you put the address into the GPS. You know that it's going to get you there, but you don't know how. And depending on which GPS service you use, one may get you there quicker and one may get you lost. But you know that eventually you're going to make it there and there's some sort of end goal. And so that is what I want to talk about. What is your end goal? What is it that you want? I know it gets frustrating because it appears that people are not supporting your dreams or not supporting your goals. But all it takes is for one person or something to just open it up. And you just never know what you have. So the thing is, don't give up and to trust the process. Trust that you are on the right path. And trust that sometimes that maybe, okay, you know what? I might need to tweak this. I might need to do that. But know that there is an end goal. If you work hard at whatever it is that you're trying to do with your life, there is an end goal. You might not start off doing what you anticipated. However, there is an end goal. There is a destiny. This is a journey. So you will eventually get to where it is you need to get to. Many people fail at different things when they first start at doing something, but it may lead to whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing with their life. So that's all I want to talk about today is trusting whatever it is that's going on. It may seem like it's a struggle, and sometimes those struggles are the best things to just keep you motivated, and just keep going. You're like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know something's going to happen. Like I said, this was never my intent to be speaking to you all on this platform. My goal was to just continue, do benefits and speak to people in person all the time. And this came up and I was like, well, I can share my voice with other people. And at first it was just going to be about mental health all the time. And then it ended up becoming something else. And then it just started evolving into different things. Now I could just say, well, you know what? I want to keep this like this and nothing else. But as things come to you, things change for you to make things better. And so therefore, you have to trust whatever it is that's going on in your mind, whatever it is that people don't understand, and whatever it is that you may not understand. You have to trust to keep on moving and to keep on going. So I want you to listen to this young man. His name is Trent Shelton, and he's going to talk about trusting the process.
Hey, what's up, rehabs across the world? Trent here. He's actually taking in the sunset, protecting my peace in New York City. And one thing that I know for a fact that a lot of people don't have these days is patience. And I like to think that patience is a part of faith, right? Believing the odds are beatable even when the odds say it's impossible. And it reminds me of having a gardener's mindset. Now I remember going to Little Rock, Arkansas to visit my grandpa, and he taught me a valuable lesson. Bless his soul, he's no longer alive. But he taught me a valuable lesson about patience and about having faith. Because sometimes we think faith is, even though we know it's seeing the unseen, but a lot of us, we think faith is actually like seeing it then believing it. But faith is believing it before you see it, right? And hoping that it comes to fruition or that harvest will take place. But I remember going to Little Rock, Arkansas when I was a little kid, and my grandfather, he had this garden. He grew up on a farm, so he was a gardener. I was far from it. But he had this garden, and every time we would go there, I would be like so intrigued of the process of planting a seed and watching that seed grow. Because I'm a firm believer in life now that every seed you plant will grow, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. And so we'll go there and we'll plant these seeds, different seeds, just different crops we wanted to plant. And I remember one specific time when I was down there and we planted seeds. I was probably like 7 years old. Literally, we planted the seeds, and 2 hours later, I went to my grandfather. I was like, "Grandfather, we must have did something wrong because like we planted the seed 2 hours ago, nothing has happened." And my grandfather always said, "Trent, just be patient and trust the process." So, at 7 years old, 6 years old, I think patience is 2 hours later. So I go back to him 2 hours after that and say, "Grandpa, listen, I'm like, it's 2 hours, it's 4 hours now. We planted the seed, nothing has happened." He said, "Trent, just be patient and trust the process." So patient to me then meant tomorrow. So the next day I go to my grandpa and say, "Grandpa, look, we did something wrong. Like nothing has happened. We planted this seed. I thought we did it right." He said, "Trent, just be patient and trust the process." So that whole process of me coming to him lasted till we left back to New Orleans. And I remember a few months later, he called and he asked to speak to me. He said, "Trent, guess what? That seed that we planted, it's time for the harvest." That crop grew. And he said, in life, always have this mindset. Just be patient and trust the process. And so a lot of people look at my life now and they see me traveling the world, speaking all across the world, and they see Rehab Time, millions of people, and they think it was an overnight thing. It took a lot of long nights. It took me going to places where one person would show up, 10 people would show up, where nobody was watching my videos. But I knew, just like my grandfather was teaching me, if I did the right things, put in the work, if I had faith, if I believed the odds were beatable even when the odds say it's impossible, then that harvest will come. It's been a decade, it's 2019 now. And the seeds I planted back in 2009 are now showing up. My point in making this video is to ask you this question. Are you being patient? Are you trusting the process? We live in a social media era where I like to call it microwave era. You see so many people start something today and they expect the result tomorrow. They expect the result next week. They expect the result next month. They expect the result at the end of the year. And a lot of people quit because those results don't show up on their time. Anything that takes time to build is powerful. Great things take time. So remember this. As long as you're watering the seed by hard work, dedication, commitment, consistency, doing the things that you know you need to do, just know that growth is gonna happen. And my definition of faith is simply this: believing something is growing, even when you can't see growth taking place. Just like that seed that me and my grandfather planted. That gardener knows that something's going on beneath the surface, even if it doesn't show up till months later. Like I said in every single video, it all starts with you. It's rehab time. Let's get it. Trust the process. Be patient. Have faith. Let's get it.
I loved what he had to say. Just so motivating. about it. Basically, it took him about 10 years to get to where he is now, but he never gave up. He knew that that was something that he wanted to do, so he trusted the process. So this is what I want to do. I want to share with you some things, a couple of ways to trust the process. So what you need to do is focus on the value that you're adding. Are you just looking at it for yourself, or is your goal to get out there and help other people to, hey, share yourself with other people? What is your goal? What value are you adding? And some people, it may be about money. Some people just be maybe about going out there helping other people. But what is it that you want? And only worry about the things you can control. The thing is, you can't control how much money you're going to end up making in the end. All you can do is your best. I see, who's her name? Tabitha Brown. I just love her. Her dreams were way bigger than I think than what she ever thought. And I don't know if you guys know, she's vegan, and she came out and started talking about her life, and she's just so personable. And I'm sure that her intention was just to get online and just to speak with people and share her story. And now she's bigger than ever. You know, and sometimes at the beginning, people may not follow you. People may not understand what it is that you're trying to do. But you cannot worry about that. You just keep on doing whatever it is that you want to do. And something will happen for you. And have faith in the unknown. And that's definitely what trust the process means, that you just have no clue. When I first started out speaking and different things, I never thought that I was going to be a good enough speaker to get in front of people. My first speech was horrible. I got up there like, oh my God, I said my speech and it was about me. So how bad can you be if you're telling a speech about yourself and you don't know yourself? And that was my first speech that I had ever done, talking about myself in front of people. And so I did my speech, and I waited about maybe 2 or 3 months before I went back, and I had a mentor. And she said, listen, I don't care if you are shaking and screaming up there, shaking and sweating up there. You get up there no matter what. If it's horrible, it's just horrible. And I came back, and I kept on. And I kept on speaking until I got more comfortable. Not to say that you still don't get nervous when you talk in front of people, but had I stopped and just let my fear conquer me, then I wouldn't be speaking with you at this present time right now. So the thing about trusting process is it's not comfortable. It's highly uncomfortable because you don't know, you can't see down the line. Even though you have no clue, you still have to act with confidence and just say, my favorite saying, I know what I know. I know something's going to change. I know that something's going to be different. And also, as I said before, it may not work all the time, but you have to embrace your failures. You have to know what this didn't work, so let me try this. This didn't work, so let me try this. And that's all it is. Because if you stop and you never try, then what are you doing? If you just stop at the first sign of failure, the first time you didn't get it right. It's about keep on moving, keep going. Use what you learned during each step of the process. So, say for instance, if you write a book or something and it just didn't go as well as you thought it was, or maybe you didn't market it well, use that experience to get it right another time. I know for me, my first book that I wrote, From Fads to Freedom, it didn't go well as far as sales go because I didn't promote it as much as I should. I just thought that, okay, well, I wrote a book now, come and get it. And I had to learn that with my second book, and I promoted it, way more and different things like that. So you use what you learn. And then my first book, actually, I wrote about some things in my life. From Fads to Freedom means false allegiance to destructive stuff. And I talked about, it's like a self-help book. It's to help you get through some things in your life. But however, that book and just doing that gave me the power. It gave me the strength to go ahead and write my second book to talk about those things that I was unable to share in my first book. I wasn't ready. Let me tell y'all this story. So I was at a meeting in Milwaukee at one of our chapters. And I was talking about my life and the things I had went through and the gastric bypass surgery and all those different things. And a girl came up to me. She said, well, you're just talking about that right now. She said, but soon you're going to be talking about some more things that happened in your life. And I'm like, this lady does not know me. I don't know what she's talking about. So let's fast forward about maybe 6 to 8 months later. I had an epiphany. I had a breakdown. I had all these things that happened to me because I had not dealt with the things in my past. However, I wrote those things in the first book, but it still gave me something to say that I still had a voice, and I could put it in my second book and expose those things that I didn't like about myself and I didn't like what other people had done to me. And I trusted the process. That was one of the hardest things that I had to write about. I trusted the process. I trusted that if I put myself out there, some people are going to like it and some people may not. But what it did, in me sharing whatever happened to me, it put me out there for other people to say, you know what, this same thing happened to me. And it put it out there where other people were able to talk to their family members about different things. So as I said, the process is uncomfortable. But in the end, you have to trust it and know that there's something in you that you need to share, something in you that you need to do. And that in the end, as uncomfortable that it may be, that it will work itself out. Another thing in trusting the process is gratitude and being thankful. I love to read, and I especially love to read about different people, triumph stories, lemons to lemonade type of stories. And the one thing that I noticed that most people said who are successful is that they practice gratitude. They got up every morning and said thank you, from Oprah to Maria Shriver to Denzel Washington, and says that when he wakes up in the morning, he said he puts his slippers up under his bed. So, because while he gets on his knees to take his slippers from under the bed, that he's still on his knees and he can begin to pray because he's already down there on his knees. And it's like, wow, that everything that they have, everything they're thankful. Tyler Perry, another one, thankful, grateful for everything. And they put themselves out there for other people. They give back. And it's just being grateful to wake up another day. Oftentimes when you're in a bad place for yourself, sometimes if you're in a bad place for yourself and you go out there and you try to lift somebody else up, it actually lifts you up too. Because sometimes in you speaking and you sharing yourself with other people, it comes back fold onto you too. It helps you. It uplifts you. So gratitude and being thankful, being happy, even during this time, the pandemic, being grateful just to be alive. And I know some people, they may have caught COVID and all those different things, but I'm sure they're more grateful to be alive. We've lost family members and different things to this nasty thing, and we still have to move on and go on. And just to be thankful to be here and to be thankful that those people that were here, we had them in our lives and they provided something, they gave us something in life. We hate to see them go or to be gone, but just to be grateful, just to know that you have another day to do something, another day to help somebody else out, another day. And then you have to visualize success. Visualize that. What do you want? So if you want to be a speaker, do you see yourself speaking in front of millions of people? Do you see yourself speaking in front of 2 people? If you have something, you have a winery. If you have, I know I say a winery because I do like to drink wine. But if you have something that you want to create, visualize it. Do you want to sell one or do you just want to sell 1 million? Whatever it is that you want, visualize what it is. And that's where a vision board comes in. If you've never created one, that is an awesome thing. I have a couple of them here in my home. Believe it or not, that is a process. You can put all that stuff on your vision board that you want to have in your life. However, there is a process that comes along with that. It doesn't just appear. There has to be some form of work, something that you have to do for it to happen. Whatever it is. I know that they say Beyonce wants I know she has a Grammy. She wants an Oscar. So she works out in front of that. She has a vision board. She works out with that every day. She visualized that is what she wants. So what do you visualize that you want in life? As they say, write the vision, make it plain. What do you visualize? What do you see yourself doing? And whatever it is, you got to trust the process. And ignore those people in your life that tell you that you can't do it. Ignore the naysayers. There are always going to be people in your life to tell you, well, you know what? Well, I wouldn't try that, because they wouldn't try it. Oftentimes, when people don't have dreams of their own, the things that they want to do on their own, they're not going to see your vision because they don't have a vision. So you can't allow non-vision people to mess with your vision. You're visionary, but you let non-vision people tell you what you can or cannot do. Or maybe their time has passed and they said, well, you know what? It didn't work for me, so I know it's not going to work for you. You have to not listen to those people. If you have a vision, and it is the craziest thing, if your vision is, I'm not sure, I know somebody said they wanted to be a clown. If that's your vision, bam. And that's what you were meant to be in this earth, bam. No matter what it is, who am I to tell you that's not what you're supposed to be doing? Who am I? So ignore those people who tell you that you cannot do something. Trust the process. And I think I've mentioned this before. Embrace your failures. Embrace your things that don't go right, because it is definitely going to happen. As I said, my first book did not go well, and it was partly my fault. I did not put forth the effort. I didn't trust the process. And I was still scared of my own power. I was still scared that I had a voice. And by the way, you still can. You can get it on Amazon. Fast of Freedom, False Allegiance to Destructive Stuff. Health book. My next book that I wrote, Addicted to Pain, where I talked about everything that I went through, being addicted to different things. So embrace what it is. And again, it may work out. It may not. Go back to the drawing board. I've had several friends that done different things at the beginning and it didn't work out. And then they went back and they tried and they did something else. And it was the most successful thing that they could have done. Sometimes the first thing that you do may lead you into the second thing, may lead you into meeting someone that's like, this may work for me. You know, sometimes people are chasing money and dollars, so they're not chasing what's in their heart. So chase what's in your heart, chase whatever it is that you need to do. Now, money is perfectly fine, but if it's not going to make you happy and help you with whatever it is that you were meant to do in this life, you know, again, I'm not trying to tell you not to chase money, because listen, everybody needs that to survive. But I'm just saying, don't be so running after it till you forget who you are and you forget your purpose, because you have to trust the process. So achieving your goals isn't meant to be easy. But when you learn how to trust the process and you're able to be grateful for the process that you've made and the progress that you've made, you will feel a huge reward. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to come overnight. It is a process. And know that you can make it. We are all in this together. And hey, again, I want to thank you guys for listening to me. Trust the process. Trust whatever your gut is telling you. When those people telling you that you can't, you have to know that you can. So guys, again, thank you for listening to me, to What Happens in This House Stays in This House, Strength Over Silence podcast. I've been your host, Tammy Montgomery Dozier. Please check out my website, www.connectedbyloveconsulting.net. I have a Facebook page as well as Instagram. They're all Connected by Love. I have a Twitter account. All of these different things, ways to contact me, 773-251-5537. I do have my Facebook podcast, What Happens in This House Stays in This House page as well. Reach out to me. Let me know how you're thinking. Let me know if there's something else that you want me to talk about. I would be glad to do that for you. So again, thank you for listening and enjoy your week.